Bryan's relentless dedication. Bryan Johnson walked a path that mirrored these ancient disciplines, though through a distinctly modern lens. His days were a finely tuned balance of ascetic rigor and scientific exactitude, each moment a step in his relentless pursuit of mastery over his mortal vessel. Fasting and nutrition. Bryan's intermittent fasting was meticulously planned, his meals designed with precision to trigger cellular regeneration and maintain metabolic harmony. In these calculated rhythms, he found echoes of ancient wisdom. Hunger, Bryan would remark, is not a weakness but a tool, a signal to adapt, to evolve. Rigorous training regimens. His physical routines were grueling yet deliberate, high-intensity intervals, endurance feats, and weight training designed to push his body to its very limits. Every drop of sweat, every trembling muscle, was an offering to the transformative fire within him. Perfection demands sacrifice, Bryan whispered as he pushed through another grueling set, his breath ragged yet resolute. Sensory control and meditation. Bryan had begun retreating into sensory deprivation chambers, quiet and dark spaces where his thoughts could settle and his mind could sharpen. These moments of mindfulness, monitored and measured by neural trackers, allowed him to master his inner storms. To master the body, Bryan often reflected, I must first master the mind. Zoran's reflections on the inner fire. From his high perch, Zoran observed Bryan's unrelenting pursuit with a mix of admiration and caution. He recognized in the mortal a spark of the inner fire, a force powerful enough to transform, but equally capable of destruction. Discipline is a noble art, Zoran rumbled, his golden eyes narrowing slightly. But fire, though it warms and forges, can also consume. Temper the flames, mortal, lest they reduce your vessel to ash. The ancient dragon understood that self-control was not synonymous with domination. True mastery was not found in crushing the self beneath the weight of ambition, but in aligning the fire within with the rhythms of existence. Dragons themselves embodied this balance, masters of elemental forces that could destroy as easily as they could create. The strongest fire burns steady, not wild, Zoran murmured to the night sky. Only by harmonizing with the flame within can one achieve transformation without ruin. The forge of transformation. In the center of his training chamber, Bryan stood heaving, his chest rising and falling as though he had reached the edge of his limits. Around him, monitors blinked with data, cataloging every heartbeat, every measured breath. The weight of his ambition pressed against him, a silent yet unrelenting force. But as he stood in the stillness of exertion, a flicker of doubt crossed his mind, a question, faint yet persistent, amidst the noise of his relentless efforts. Was this path leading him toward transcendence, or had it become an end in itself? And then, carried on an unseen wind, Zoran's words reached him, soft yet resonant. The forge transforms not only the vessel, but the soul that inhabits it. Discipline is your ally, mortal, but let not the flames of your ambition burn without purpose. What you shape must serve a truth beyond perfection, or it will become hollow, a vessel without spirit. A call to purpose. Bryan exhaled deeply, the weight of the dragon's wisdom settling over him like a quiet dawn. His pursuit was not over, could never be over, but something within him shifted. The path of mastery was not merely about data or effort. It was about balance, purpose, and tending to the delicate flame within. Zoran's final wisdom. As the stars emerged one by one, Zoran unfurled his wings, their span catching the moonlight as he ascended into the heavens. His parting words lingered on the wind, a message meant for not only Bryan, but all who sought to transform themselves. Mastery is not found in the steel of muscles, nor the measure of will. It is in the harmony of your fire and your breath, your strength and your stillness. Tend wisely to your inner flame, mortal, and let it light your path, not in perfection, but in purpose. And so Bryan stood beneath the night sky, his ambitions tempered by a deeper understanding the forge within him burning brighter yet steadier than before. The celestial dance. Aligning with the rhythms of the cosmos, the night unfolded its velvet black cloak, the stars scattering across the firmament like embers carried by a cosmic wind. Zoran, perched atop his obsidian throne, stretched his wings in a graceful arc, their edges catching the shimmering light of distant galaxies. To him, the heavens were not a mere spectacle, they were the pulse of creation itself, their rhythms echoing through mortal hearts and timeless dragon breaths alike. The celestial dance was eternal, guiding all life below in the harmonious steps of its unseen melodies. Tonight, Zoran's gaze pierced through the clouds, descending toward a mortal whose lab blazed with artificial light, Bryan Johnson. His tireless efforts to align his body with the cycles of the cosmos captivated Zoran's curiosity. Inside that glowing sanctum, Bryan chased the echoes of ancient truths, translating starlit whispers into data streams and calibrated regimens. "The mortal seeks the secrets of the stars," Zoran murmured, his voice resonating like the low hum of the celestial spheres. Yet, does he grasp that their light burns not only in the heavens above, but in the currents of his own being? The ancient wisdom of celestial rhythms are in his mind, a repository of eons, swept back through the corridors of time. He recalled the sages who had lifted their gaze to the heavens, seeking answers in the eternal movements of stars and planets. They had understood that the rhythms above mirrored the rhythms within, that life itself was an extension of the cosmic dance. Astrological influence. The ancients held that the movements of celestial bodies shaped human health and destiny. The waxing and waning of the moon, the alignment of planets, and the cycles of seasons were seen as forces that harmonized with the mortal body and spirit. The stars are not distant observers, Zoran had told a stargazer long ago, but silent architects shaping the tides of your soul and the pulse of your life. The importance of circadian rhythms. Even then, the cycle of day and night was revered. The sun's rise and fall was the heartbeat of existence, its light bringing energy and its darkness offering rest. Mortals who lived in synchrony with these rhythms found vitality and longevity. Defy the rhythm of time, Zoran reflected, and you silence the song that sustains you. Embrace it, and you join the chorus of creation. Bryan's modern alchemy in his laboratory. Bryan worked tirelessly, guided by the light of modern science, yet driven by a timeless hunger for alignment. His quest was to decipher and harmonize with his body's natural cycles, a mission that drew its inspiration from both cutting-edge research and ancient wisdom. Understanding circadian rhythms, Bryan studied the body's internal clock, influenced by light and dark. Through hormone analysis, he monitored cortisol and melatonin levels, seeking to optimize energy, focus, and rest. "We are creatures of rhythm," Bryan often mused. "And to thrive, we must learn the dance of the cycles that created us." Harnessing light with precise lighting systems, Bryan mimicked the progression of sunlight throughout the day. Bright, blue-toned light in the morning signaled wakefulness, while warm, dim light in the evening prepared his body for rest. Light is the conductor, Bryan explained, of the body's symphony. When it falters, we lose our melody. A regimen of harmony, Bryan's daily routine was carefully crafted to align with these rhythms. He rose with simulated dawn, stretched and hydrated his body, and retired hours before artificial dusk to allow his system to unwind. Health, Bryan believed, is found not in resistance, but in synchrony, not just within ourselves, but with the world around us. Zoran's reflections on the celestial dance high above. Zoran watched Bryan's efforts with a measured gaze. The mortal's dedication was admirable, a testament to humanity's relentless striving. Yet Zoran sensed a tension, a hunger for perfection, that risked obscuring the beauty of surrender. For the celestial dance was not something to be commanded, it was a melody to be felt, a tide to flow with grace and humility. The stars whisper, but they do not demand, Zoran said softly to the night. Mortal, do not seek to master the heavens. Instead, let their rhythm guide your own. Their light burns not for control, but for harmony. The dragon understood that alignment with the cosmos required not rigidity, but fluidity. Dragons themselves had long learned to synchronize their breaths with the pulse of the universe, their power balanced by the grace of their acceptance. We are all but notes in the great symphony, Zoran mused, and it is harmony, not perfection, that gives the song its meaning.